This is my 1973 BMW R75/5 with a toaster tank. I did a light Resto mod on this build. Wanted to preserve the classic element of this build, of this bike. So definitely didn't want to molest it and chop up the frame or detap anything. Wanted to have the option to reverse what I did back to its original form, and so I just did what I can or to my capability, and not chopped up anything. And so it's fairly a light modification. A lot of the work has been done on the rear end of the bike and not so much the front. So let's start with the front. Made a small little front fender, as you can see. Real nice and light aluminum. I gave it a brushed aluminum finish, and so it'll hold on to the original fork brace nice and tight. So it's light enough, and so I'm not worried about it coming off or bending, and don't have to build any struts to hold it on. All right. The headlight bucket is all original, along with the speedo. Added some bum mirrors, as you can see, to the headlight. I love the bum mirror and the look it provides. Very classic. Some Moto Gadget blinkers that fit nicely into the existing hole on the headlight ears. Okay. I changed out the handlebar. It originally had the Euro bar, and so I really love the late model Ducati bars. So I opted to go with the Ducati Monster bar that I found on eBay. Replaced the steering dampener knob with a nice billet aluminum one that's made by Osmo, company out of California, that makes nice tasty bits for Airhead as well as other bikes. All right. Let's see what else. Grips, I made some leather grip covers to go on top of these bit well, because I felt the color of the bit well didn't match the color of the seat very well, and it kind of stood out a little bit, kind of dull in my opinion. All right, so that's pretty much what I did to the front. The tank is original, Niquinala red. I still got some nicks and whatnot, given that I wanted to have a really low budget build. I thought the paint job was still good enough to keep. The panel is still in great shape. All right. Moving down, the engine. Oh my God! I painstakingly scrub and sand and use whatever tools available at my garage, as well as borrowing my neighbor's tool to clean up this engine. Pretty much had 46 years old grimes and dirt that was stuck on there, so I cleaned it up as best I could. That's what I also cleaned up the pipes, exhaust pipe there. All right. The carb was still in fairly good shape, so I cleaned that up as well. Didn't need to be rejet or rebuilt. Just tuning. Okay. See, mufflers, I went with some pretty affordable MGO. A lot of the Airhead builders use this type of muffler, mainly because it has bracket already built in, so you don't have to really weld in a bracket. I did have to make a custom bracket to secure that in there, because the original bracket that came with this bike angled in at 90 degree, and I needed to angle it out a little bit more, like 60 or 70 degree, only because of the foot peg that's on this side. It's really a tight fit, so I really had to figure out the bracket angle in order to fit the MGO muffler in place without obstructing the foot pedal, the brake foot pedal, from moving up and down. All right. Okay. battery. I wanted to keep the rear as clean as possible, so I relocated the battery to the bottom. Built a little battery box and made a little leather strap with a buckle to secure it in. Extended the cables, battery cables. So now it's fit nice and tucked and snug down there. Um, some people had some concern because it's so far down there. You know, this bike is mainly going to be ridden on asphalt, not so much off-road. So I'm not too worried about hitting rocks and damaging the battery or the battery box. The only thing that I had to sacrifice was a center stand. And so we'll have to go without center stand for a little bit. Maybe I'll relocate the battery to another spot when I have more time to really think about it. All right. Moving on to the rear subframe. I'm not a fabricator, and to get a custom rear subframe made was going to be pretty expensive, so I opted to get one from this company out of UK called Vanzetti. They make pretty affordable subframe, pretty nice, and it's a bolt-on. That's made for the /5 as well as various Airhead models. Okay. So I painted it satin black as well as the frame. The shocks, I kept the original shocks, cleaned up the covers, sanded it, and gave it a clear coat, protected. The rear fender, that also came from a Vanzetti. Had a bottom bracket welded on to secure the bottom there to the rear swing arm. Had struts welded on and made the brackets to secure the rear fender in place. Also gave it a brushed aluminum finish to be consistent with the front fender, and gave it a clear coat as well for protection purpose. All right. The rear blinkers, I use these very affordable, what they call supernova blinkers. They were 15 bucks a piece. I routed the wire to the rear subframe, and it's tied in underneath the tank there, along with all the other lights. The seat, Vanzetti does make a seat kit that fits with the subframe nicely, but I opted out mainly because I wanted to design my own seat and give my own additional personal touch to this build, and so I opted to make various designs of seats. Overall, I made 7 different designs out of cardboard and put them up against the bike and just kind of studying to see which one fit best. And so I ended up going for this design. Real nice and clean, give it a little bit of a tail kick in the rear there. Went with genuine leather, nice warm tone, tan tone there. So hopefully this leather will last a lot of years as opposed to vinyl. Cost me 350 bucks to get the seat made. So very affordable. I made the seat pan for it, and it's held together by with 4 bolts with rev nuts that's installed to the seat pan. The rear brake light is a small LED strip made by Radiance. It's a tail light and running light combo. So it's incorporated into the rear seat leather, so it's nice and clean. Alright. License plate, I relocated license plate down to the bottom, made a license plate for it. The bracket I bought from TC Bros. I've yet to wire in the license plate light, that's still to come. Let's see, what else? The wheels are original, gave it a refresh, a polish, as well as the rear hubs. Alright, so front hub, all original, nice and polished. So So for the most part, my main goal was to retain as much of the DNA of the bike as possible, to reuse as many parts as I can, to keep the build budget low, and other parts that I'm capable of making, I made it myself. Um, so, you know, I wanted the bike to be nice and clean and fairly simple. I didn't want anything too fancy for the bike, and so I think I achieved my goal for the main part. To keep it nice and clean and simple with a little bit, I guess, a touch of vintage elegance, as I like to call it. So anyway, this is pretty much my build. Took me 6 months working on it sparingly. I got 3 young kids to juggle through their activities as well as a full-time job. So, but I love my weekend hobby, um, just building bikes just for myself to ride, to gawk at, to enjoy, with no deadlines, with no one to breathe down your shoulder on when you're gonna finish the bike. So anyway, this is and oh yeah, and I named her Halong, Halong, which is a region in northern Vietnam that's extremely beautiful. Halong stands for Descending Dragon, and so I just felt that it's fitting for this bike. It's kind of descended on me by chance, and I wasn't looking to do a build, and so here she is. Anyway, let me see if I can start her up. Uh, there we go. Nice little ride. I love it. So that's it. I love riding her. That's all I have. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you like what I did. Adios.